Welcome back, everyone. Nice to see you all again. We're going to bring you today another fine fail tale. The emphasis on the fail tales is not to do a review. It's more of a trip down memory lane to some of the interesting circumstances that happened in game systems, many of which are not played anymore, or there's very few players out there, but were big during the early days of role-playing games being rolled out on a constant basis to potential players out there. This reflects back on early Gen Cons, the first 4 or 5 Gen Cons, and an interesting time in gaming because everything was so new. So today's fail tale will go back to the basic set of Dungeons and Dragons. This is prior to the release of the Monster Manual initially, though actually for what I'm going to be describing, I know that the Monster Manual had just come out. The person who was running the game was actually using my copy of the Monster Manual, which I got at Christmas time in 1977. So, without further ado, let me tell you what was going on here. This particular person was running a dungeon. He was a young college student and was running a dungeon for a bunch of his friends, introducing them to the game for the first time. All the people in here had never played except for him. So he got together a bunch of people who were interested in it, forced them to read the pamphlet of instructions that came with the original box set, and everyone sat down to develop characters, first principle characters, and get ready for a game of D&D. Amongst the players that he had selected for his particular dungeon included what would be his future wife and his future best man. At that time, dating that particular young lady, and the other was just a close friend. So they went into the first dungeon. The dungeon had been created by this person. It wasn't the first one he had ever done, but it was probably a second or third. And they led down to the start of the dungeon, a huge set of doors, gigantic doors, like 18, 20 feet tall, bound with iron and brass, heavy wood timbers, the whole 9 yards. Now the people who were playing the game were excited to try it out, and they had taken to heart all the things they had read about it and took the time to investigate the door for traps and things of that nature. Well, they found the trap. They just didn't really know what it was. They knew it was a mechanical trap. They couldn't see what was going on. And they figured that, okay, they're very low-level characters. It's not going to be hard for them to defeat the trap. My understanding is that's correct, but they rolled even worse than that. So in the process of trying to remove the trap, they triggered the trap. The trap was actually that the door was hinged on the bottom, not on the sides. And when they triggered the trap, the door fell outwards on top of the party. Well, early days of D&D, low-level characters, no magic to speak of. They all got squashed flat like bugs. Blood oozing out the sides of the doors. So he had managed to kill his future wife and his future best man. Needless to say, they weren't very excited about what happened here because it killed them off and they'd been barely playing for 10 minutes. Now, being a nice guy, this DM resurrected all the characters, put them inside the dungeon, and let them carry on. That also had some very catastrophic consequences. But we'll cover that in another video. In the meantime, it's amazing to think that you can talk about this as being his future wife and future best man, given everything that happens, that she ever spoke to him again. But, like I said, more in the next video as to what the outcome was after they tried going forward. So, hopefully you're liking some of this stuff. There's going to be some nostalgia going forward because of long experience. Yes, I'm Hornhelm, gray beard. Been around a long time. If you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on the notifications, share with your friends, take over the world. Oh, wait, no, not that last part. And remember, dwarves rock.